Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to another WinPure's webinar here. Just going to wade into this as people are still joining. My name is Ben Cutler. I'm one of our solution specialists here with WinPure. I'll be your host today. So again, thank you everyone for joining. For anyone who did register, you will receive an email following this webinar with links to a recording of the webinar. Feel free to share that. Also our contact information, the websites. So please keep an eye out for that email. Also, we are going to leave 10 or 15 minutes at the end of the webinar here for Q&A. So feel free to submit questions along the way. But again, just going to wade into this here. A bit of housekeeping before we jump into the topic today. But again, really appreciate everyone joining. Appreciate your interest, your time, your consideration. Hope everyone is doing well today. By the way, if you enjoy these webinars, please do me a big favor and subscribe to us on YouTube. We'd really appreciate your support there. Again, the channel is WinPure. Before we move into today's topic, just starting with a quick reminder here, everyone is on mute, but you can ask questions using the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel. And again, we'll leave some time at the end of the webinar to answer those questions. But again, for those just joining, my name is Ben Cutler, Solution Specialist here with WinPure. I'll be your host today. Thanks again for joining. Jumping right into it here, the title of this webinar is WinPure and JifJaff Launching End-to-End Automation for Data Migration and Cleansing. So I just want to start with quick introductions of our speakers today. On the call with us today, we have James and Sanjeev from JifJaff, COO and CTO respectively. And speaking on behalf of WinPure here, we are thrilled about this partnership and we share their vision. So James, Sanj, thanks again for joining us today, and thanks for all your help in putting this event together. Feel free just to jump in and say hello if you'd like to.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, everyone. Good to meet you all.
Thank you, Ben. Good to meet you all. Sanjeev here. Excited to show the capabilities of this platform.
Awesome. Yeah, really looking forward to it. This is a long time coming and very exciting. So let's take a look at the agenda today. I'm going to kick this off just with a bit of background about WinPure. After that, I'm going to turn it over to JifJaff so we can really see the exciting stuff. So JifJaff, Sanj, James are going to take us through some general introductions, a bit of background about JifJaff. They'll be introducing the platform for intelligent automation of data migration. So we'll be able to see a brief demonstration. And then we're going to open it up to live questions. So this is going to, fly by pretty quickly. But again, we're really excited and, some really good information here. So let's take a look and let's just start with a bit of background about WinPure. WinPure founded in 2003, almost 20 years now of development. We have thousands of clients and partners all over the world. You can see our footprint there. Here's a quick look at some of our clients in a variety of different sectors. We have technology, government, education, financial, healthcare, nonprofits. Our software is the Clean and Match software. It's a data quality platform. It's award-winning worldwide, top-rated worldwide. And our software is available for budgets of just about any size. It's plug and play. It's very simple to use. No special skills are really needed. Maybe just an hour or two of training. We do have a free community edition of the software available. It takes about 2 minutes to download, 2 minutes to install. So you can get started and start working with data pretty much immediately. Feel free to request that free community edition at winpure.com. So there are really a variety of different ways to describe different data matching and data quality needs. And, you know, obviously not everyone on this call today, not everyone within the organization is thinking about master data management. So let's just say that, you know, here at WinPure, our focus is data matching and data quality, data cleansing, right? Some of the problems that we help to solve, or the, you know, the operations or initiatives that we can support include deduplication, data integration, data migration, like we'll be talking about today, data matching, data quality, merge purge, record linkage, lots of very, you know, unique keywords there, depending on what specifically you're working on. Single customer view, single source of truth, data prep, data cleansing, different types of verification, address verification, email verification, postal certification, things like that. And in the context of master data management, our solutions are used anything from the initial implementation to your daily batch loads, real-time interactions between, you know, disparate systems, databases, business tools, things like that. Mergers, acquisitions, migrations, fuzzy matching is also used for search purposes, and a variety of other general data operations. So that's a bit of background about WinPure and you know, how our data quality software could potentially be useful. So just to finish up here with my introduction before I turn this over to our friends with JifJaff here, just a quick summary. WinPure, again, almost 20 years of top-tier data matching and data quality domain expertise. Our data quality software is top-rated worldwide. It's plug and play. It's simple to use. It's lightweight and built for big data. It's very, very versatile. And what I mean is just that it allows you to quickly and easily integrate data from multiple disparate data sources. It also allows you to run ongoing data quality profiling checks, or to cleanse, normalize, match, merge, deduplicate, and verify your data, helping our clients to implement data quality solutions faster, to save a ton of time, and to make their data more useful, and to accelerate a variety of different you know, project timelines. So that is really all from me in terms of the introduction for WinPure here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to James and to Sanj here, so they can tell us more about JifJaff and their solution here. James, Sanj?
Good stuff, Ben. Do you want to share the screen, please, Ben?
Yep, just passed you the controller.
Okay, hi everyone, James here. Just while Sanjeev flips over to the next screen. Thanks for the introduction. We're really excited by the partnership as well. We you know, we see big things coming from this. There's a massive increased capability from both parties because of the integration of the WinPure software into our platform. It's an interesting that I'll just cover very quickly. I don't want to use up too much time, but the reason why we wanted to partner with WinPure. So data migration is a huge area, a complex area, and essentially invariably something that people try not to do because of the complexity of it on a larger scale. We've incorporated a number of different softwares into our platform to be able to deliver a service. As automation specialists, we're able to manipulate applications and manipulate the way that that different applications communicate with each other through building out interfaces very quickly. And when you start to take that and move that into the world of data migration, it starts to open up a lot of other avenues. Automation was seen almost in its infancy, and we're automation specialists as the sort of as the new way of migrating data. But actually, in reality, you need to add some finesse, and that finesse is the WinPure offering. When you combine WinPure into the platform, it enables other functionality. So who are JifJaff? JifJaff essentially are automation experts. We specialize in building software robots. Yeah, and that's our background. Sanj, should we jump in?
Yeah, thanks, James. So again, I mean, just leveraging on the intelligent automated data migration platform. Now, effectively it provides a one-stop shop. It's the ability, again, through the collaboration of data cleansing engines, WinPure technology, automation technology, BI reporting. It then provides you an end-to-end solution in a very difficult space. As James said, it's one of those projects which is one of those. It's left to decide. It's almost forced upon the business. If you can have a product or a solution which can effectively leverage and extract data from any legacy application, whether it be the current applications of this world, i.e. the SAPs, the Oracles of this world, the Sages of this world, or going back 20, 30 odd years where you've got archaic legacy applications where you don't have APIs and you don't have a way in. Through automation capability, through this platform's capability, we're able to enter into those applications through the front end, through the back end, through any table structures, extract that data, apply business rules, clean, format that data, push it through the platform, and open itself up into the array of functionalities that WinPure has in terms of its cleansing, deduping, etc., etc. And there's lots of capabilities where you start to merge two technologies, i.e. automation and WinPure. It takes it to a whole new level because you can then start to overlay that source information. You can split that information up. You can do analysis on that information. You can spot trends, analysis. You can then have the reconciliation and governance across that life cycle of data, which again is hugely important when you're starting to look at data migration programs and stakeholders. The metrics are the ones which drive the sign-off. So again, really important part of the whole solution. Okay, I'm just going to go to the next slide. Here we go. Okay, so these are our certified partners. So again, JifJaff is a strong player within automation. We're certified with a number of automation softwares, again, which have been configured into our platform. These are our selection of JifJaff clients. As we can see here, they range from public sector to retail to financial services, etc. Partnership. Okay, so James, you want to take this one?
Yeah, and just to reiterate what we were saying before, we're extremely pleased to sort of integrate WinPure into our platform. Just to touch on something that I started to say before Sanjeev took over. When automation first came out, so I don't know how many people are familiar with software automation in the webinar today, but it was almost seen as the new way of migrating data. Because of the sheer capacity of robots. Robots are extremely fast. You can standardize them. They can log in and out of any application. You can build out reporting functionality. But over the last couple of years, we haven't actually seen robots used that much in data migration projects. And the reason for that is it's a bit like taking a hammer to a pin. Yes, you can use robots with their immense capacity, speed, and reporting to suck data in from multiple applications or different legacy systems or through APIs or whichever way you like, and push it through somewhere else. You need to have some more tact, some more finesse to doing that. And robots, whilst providing the capacity, aren't able to deliver that. And if you try to build that into each workflow using automation, it starts to get really expensive. So the reason for our platform and the reason and why it's doing so, making such a difference in the market and become such a disruptor, is because we're using the best of a number of different technologies in order to deliver a very specific outcome. We are able to manage masses and masses of data if required, or small amounts of data, with standardized capacity, full reporting through automation. and we are able to then cleanse that through WinPure with their standard deliverables around how they're able to cleanse and deduping and checking mistakes and you know, the portfolio of products and services that they have, and then marry that with a very complex reporting function. So we have an end-to-end solution where you're able to physically have a very clean, standardized approach and outcome through a one-stop shop, through a platform which is delivered as a service. Sanjeev in a minute is going to do a demonstration and run you through a demo of that, so you can actually see the platform working. And it'd be good to sort of have some Q&As and some questions afterwards. But essentially, as you can see on the slide in front of you, when you start to standardize and use automation where you have predefined rules and logic to follow, the outcomes from that are lower risks, lower project costs, higher data accuracy, more auditable in real time, rapid deployment. Platform can be up and running in a matter of weeks. So rather than data migration projects, especially the larger ones, taking several months to scale up, that's no longer an issue. And we minimize the people element of that, so security is increased as well. As I touched on before, the automation piece of this provides exceptional speed, much higher straight-through processing times when you, as opposed to a manual effort, and increased data loads and quicker access to cleaned and migrated data. And what's really important, and we can evidence that through the reporting aspect of the platform, is the reduced data errors. You know, when you're processing masses of data, validating, reducing risk, and ensuring a higher quality of data, the platform has been proven to lower error rates from up to 20% down to 0.
Brilliant, yeah, and just to sort of, you know, just adding on top of that, you know, universal data access. Now, again, you know, how do you have a solution which can communicate with any legacy application, any current system? And that's where the automation piece is a game changer. You don't need an API. I don't need a specific way in or out. As long as I've got a username and a password, I can get into any application through the platform, through the robotics functionality. I can go in, I can take data, and again, if we talk about barriers and deliverables and outcomes, and that's the world we live in, especially in data migration. Now, again, another barrier to data migration, and sort of I'm an unfortunate a person that's lived through migrations for the last 20 years, you know, how I can't go back a number of years. It's too timely, it's too costly. I'd have to ramp up teams of 4, 6, 8, 10 people. You know, there's a massive blocker and dependency that migrations have within the overall upgrade of that project. I might be, you know, upgrading to Cloud HANA. I might be upgrading on my Oracle platform. I might just be migrating 3 systems and consolidating to one application. But inherently, migration projects are a blocker. They're a dependency. Now, through automation, through the cleansing engines, through the reporting functionality, I can give that one-stop shop. I can go in, get my data, log into any application, extract that data, clean that data, format that data. And again, we know it's painful, and it's a very laborious manual task, you know, for one to go into an application, download the information, manually copy, paste, cleanse. You know, this is lots of hours that it takes. And why would we want to do that if we have software that can replicate and perform those functions, especially with a reporting overlay function? So again, it leverages scalable data extraction. You know, again, there's no limits to the amount of data and volumes that I can extract. And again, that's a massive barrier to current migration projects. Reconciliation reporting, again, huge. You know, how do I get stakeholder sign-off if I can't have data integrity and a complete audit across the data lifecycle and the transport strategy of that data from source to target? I have to tell you where it's gone, what's happened, what time, what exceptions, what duplications, what data sets, etc., etc. So I have to have complete audit across that life cycle. You know, again, leveraging off upgrades, SAP, for example, where you have to do parallel runs. You might need to synchronize multiple environments. Well, I can have a robot effectively placed to almost pick up my static data and populate it to my multiple environments, my synchronized environments. Again, you know, leveraging functionality of the platform, whereby normally you wouldn't have that opportunity to take static data. It normally be a change window at month end or something. Sorry, not a month end, but at a certain point in time where you're able to take that data. I can have bots sitting and sucking data out at any point in time, and again synchronize my other boxes, whether that be for an upgrade or again just you know, making sure that my environments are all in sync from a UAT, dev, test, prod environment. And governance and control, again, massive controls, policies, procedures, business rules embedded into the process. Once we understand the nature of the problem, the business rules around that, and again, there are nuances. So what this does give you, it gives us a platform. It gives us the ability to take a client's business requirements. It could be within insurance, it could be within retail, and again, there are nuances. It could be product matchings, it could be postcode validation, it could be a simple cleanse operation, it could be cross validations across multiple data sets. Again, having those nuances and having the ability to seamlessly take those business requirements and feed them into the platform and to deliver an outcome within days, if not weeks. Again, we're solving a problem which takes normally months and months of sort of hard labor-intensive work. Okay, so just moving on to the actual demo. Before I run through the actual demo, I'd like to position the demo. So what we're going to see here is the automation capability of the platform logging onto SAP. Purposely, we've done it so that the robot is extracting from the front end. It's just running a master data report. I think there's around 5,000 vendors across a number of countries. Now, what we're going to get the automation piece to do, because the business requirement here was I wanted to split up that file at a country level, because for the purposes of this demo, I just want to load in my UK file. So again, I think it's splitting up the source file into 4 files. The automation capability will take that source data, split the file up, it will tick the box of housekeeping, because it will create me 4 files at a country level. It will then be fed into the WinPure cleansing functionality of the platform. Again, the business requirement here is I want to identify my duplication, so at vendor level. I want to understand, who has similar bank accounts, or rather identical bank accounts across 3,000 odd records, which is what that UK file represents. I also want to understand, what is the vendor spend across 2020 for those vendors, and I want to have that report or that data set separated so I can give that to my team to analyze. We've then got a dry run capability across this platform. So again, with any type of data cleanse, we need to know what you're going to do before you actually do it. So the dry run provides the metrics, it provides the functionality, it tells me what my source data set was, it tells me the record count, it tells me which file names, it tells me where I've put it, what this target, what the source is, the business rules, etc. So again, through the BI reporting functionality, I'm able to extract that data, read that data, provide it to my stakeholders, and get sign off and effectively see what's happening under the hood. The robot functionality will then take the output from the platform, from the actual cleansing engine, and what we're going to do is we're going to have the automation piece physically load the vendors into a target online vendor portal. Now, again, we're talking about replacing a very manual operation, taking a source file. That could be 50,000 vendors, it could be 500,000 vendors, it doesn't really matter, because we could have a bot. We have got the bot to do that, and that could be one source, that could be one target application, that could be 15 target application. It doesn't really matter. We would just code that into the bot to effectively log on, populate source to target field information, record and capture the actual entries posted within that target application, fed into the BI reporting platform. I then have got source to target reconciliations, which again is vital across this data lifecycle.
And just to jump in very quickly there, thanks, Sanjeev. And we've used SAP as an example because lots of people have seen SAP, but we can log in and out of any application, any legacy application as well.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very true. I mean, it's
or actually multiple applications.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Yeah, I was about to say, and again, this demo focuses on one source application. Again, the business requirement could be that you've got 5 legacy applications where businesses have grown over time, and just one of those things where we've got lots of data lying around in different applications, and the business case might be to, okay, how do I go about taking all that data across those 5 systems, sucking that data out, bring it into one repository, and then applying my business rules because I have one target application. Again, not a problem. That's where the automation capability comes into its own. It's able to log in, navigate to the respective screen, populate the selection parameters, for want of a better word, and pull that data out. Okay, good stuff. So let's crack on with the actual demo. So what we're going to see here is from the platform, the automation capability logging on to SAP. Here we go. So it's logging on to SAP, and the robot is now navigating to the actual vendor master screen. It's going to This is a front end. It's through a display profile, so again, no risk, etc. It's looking at all the suppliers. It's populated at company code 1710. It's now downloading that information. Now in the background, as you can see here, I'm just going to actually pause it and play just to almost slow it down, because the robot functionality is very quick. So what we can see here is the automation capability is logged into SAP. There was one report that it ran. It ran it at company code 1710. Now at that entity level, there were a multitude of countries. So what we wanted to do for the purposes of this demo, I want to run in just my UK file, because that's the business case here. That's what I'm focusing on. So the automation capability has now split that file up into the respective country files. It's then saved it to a target location. We can have a look at those later. Okay, so I'll just play that on. Oh.
Okay. Just to jump in very quickly as well. So just for those of you who aren't familiar with software automation, and just to reiterate what Sanjeev has said, this aspect has been predefined. The logic and the structure to follow has been predefined prior to project kickoff. So we've built in how to log into the application, what to look for, why to look for it in advance with the client, with the migration team. That's been tested, that's been checked, that's been signed off as acceptable, and then then the platform has literally pressed go. And from that point onwards, you're looking at the platform using robots, using WinPure, using reporting, using overarching logic and business rules around that to perform the tasks required in order to deliver a successful automation. So everything that you're seeing now has been predefined. It's sitting in the brain of the platform, and it's running by itself. Obviously being monitored and checked, and there's reporting provided over and above it. And what Sanjeev is doing is just showing you, the different stages that it's following based on the predefined logic and rules that have been confirmed in order to deliver a successful migration project.
And that's a good point, 100%. And if we look at just, I've paused it sort of 30 seconds in, to manually go into SAP, download a file, to cut up that file at a country level, that would take a lot longer than the 10 seconds that it took the automation capability to do that. Now, if we extrapolate that out further, let's say I had to extract general ledger accounts, cost centers, profit centers, customers, vendors. The data types could go on and on and on. I mean, if we look at SAP, I think it's around 280 to 300 specific data types. Now, for a person to do that, again, it's just not how can you say, a tangible use of time. It's not a good use of time where you can have the bot effectively take that information and format that information. So again, we've just focused on suppliers, a very, very quick demo to extract that data, but that could be 30, 50, 400 different types of data that I'm sucking in. And as James said, once we've captured your business requirements and those business rules, because it's a standardized offering, we can pump those into the platform and then able to churn out your outcomes as per your business requirements.
Yeah, and just to jump in before you carry on, and to follow that logic, when you think of the ripple effect through the business, you've got projects which are kicking off faster, completed quicker, more accurate, but also more importantly, bring the cost down. Because there's less people involved. The piece of work in advance, with the consultancy wrap, for want of a better description, in advance, where we predefine all the logic, once that has been done and completed and signed off as to correct, there's no longer the same requirement to have as many people involved in the project as would have happened previously. Then it becomes all about the reporting, which is something which we'll demonstrate to you later.
And yeah, good point. And so whilst I'm stopping and starting, all of the metrics that are being carried out by the automation capability, by the WinPure, etc., are all being recorded at in the bot's brain. The bot understands every footprint, every diagnostic piece of technical step log. The logs that are being recorded are then translated to a user-friendly output, which we'll see later. So just to look, just to almost flag up the UK file. So again, we've opened up the UK file. I think it's over around 3,000 records. We can see that column B is littered with duplications. We can see column D again has got a couple of semicolons in it. Column E, lowercase. Again, why did the data clerk enter it in as lowercase when it should have been uppercase? The sort of stuff where we see every day. Data being entered into legacy applications, ERP applications, and it's not always right. The quality sometimes does does sort of go awry. So column F, again, has got leading spaces, commas, we've got data errors in terms of, you know, hyphens, etc. So, but in coming back to this, so this is all, you know, all kind of the I would say almost the baseline standard type of functionality. But what's more interesting is when we can start to add in specific business rules. How about I want that platform to tell me my vendor spend for 2020. How about I want to understand duplications of vendors who've got the same bank account information, which my data clerk has unfortunately has set up incorrectly 6 times. You know, how about I can do cross-validation, not across one column, but 10 columns, you know, where you can start to almost match, marry, merge multiple columns, overlay that with specific business rules with the algorithm capability. You can then start to answer some really difficult business questions. Do I want to take that data to my target application? Or how about you provide me that data set with that specific problem that I've expressed. I can then use the robot to effectively take that data, create a unique data set, and give that to the actual data migration team to do what people do. Look at exceptions, look at problems, look at the actual piece of work that requires a brain, not the downloading, extracting, formatting, etc. So let's just play this on. So I'm now going to take the UK file, put it into the platform, or rather the data cleansing functionality piece of the platform. And we can start to execute the actual business requirements here and the business rules. And as we can see here, this is where WinPure comes into its own. It's expressing, it's carrying out those standard functionalities in terms of, there we go. I can just go back a touch actually. So it went quite fast. There we go. So as we can see here, we've loaded in our data sets. We can see here that the UK file has gone in. We can then start to, and again, this is all fully automated through the automation capability. And this is a collaboration of multiple technologies coming through, i.e. the WinPure, the automation capability, the reporting, the reconciliation, the governance. The automation piece has taken the business requirements because I want it to take the commas and the hyphens and the leading spaces. So the automation piece has selected it. And this comes back to the very beginning of what we spoke about. Yeah, I could get an automation robot to do this in isolation, but I'd have to build out 50 different workflows if I had 50 different data sets. We've got a standardized offering here. We can do this in, you know, 100th of the, you know, the time is a massive factor here, especially in data migration. A standardized platform able to execute predefined functions gives you a faster outcome, and that obviously saves money. Okay, so again, I've loaded the platform. As we can see on the left-hand side, we can see my UK file. We can see all the columns, which, again, when I showed you on the Excel file, all the columns have loaded. In the top right-hand corner, we can see the actual visibility and transparency of what's actually happening to that data. And the robots, have, you know, the automation piece has effectively selected of the functions of what I want to do. And then the right-hand side is the driver for the BI reporting functionality. It's telling me what data has been cleaned. It's telling me which vendor has got the problem. It tells me what the record count. It tells me what time it did it, what the file name was, and where it put it. And we'll come on to the BI piece just in a few seconds. So let's roll this on. Okay, so we're just rolling this on. So now it's done the standard cleansing. And now what I want the platform to do is, coming back to what we said earlier, is I want the platform to tell me of all my vendors who's got the same bank account details. So again, we're trying to merge multiple columns with a specific business rule, and this could be 20 million records. This could be 10 million records. You know, when you start to look at high volume, high value types of data sets, executing out these types of logics become very difficult from a manual perspective for a person to physically do this. And this is just one business rule. We could have 15 different types of business rules. You could have, we had one client where they wanted to understand the similarities and the synergy between customer and products and time and months, etc. So we could take that information and start to do some sort of trend analysis based on that data, not going into the worlds of true AI. Again, you know, feeding in retrospective data and overlaying that and picking up patterns and themes. It's no way. It's by no means that side, but we can actually do some fairly intelligent cleansing of data and actually some fairly detailed analysis of your data sets. And inherently, that's all you need, because again, you just need to know what data am I migrating to my target application. Okay, so we're just going to have the platform again provide me that data set. So again, what we're going to have here is I want the platform to give me a specific data set whereby it's picked up that relationship across those 3 columns, and that's what it's doing now. Saving it to my target location. Again, housekeeping, cleansing has been performed. Now, I've just paused it onto the BI piece. This is now what this provides us is, again, the metrics and the reconciliation across the life cycle of my data. Really important. This is the dry run. Now, before I go to my live run, I would now send this to the stakeholders and say, okay, based on the requirements that you've given us. So if we just move it on a tad, there we go. We can say, so the first high-level metrics is dry run, supply UK, extraction date and time, the target file path, the business rules. And again, for this one, we've got one business rule, listing all the suppliers with transactions on a payment method B. What was my duplication count? Again, this 5,000 records, it's told me I've got 5 duplicates across that. What was the logic? What was the duplication file path? Again, my high-level metrics. And then we can scroll this on a tad. It starts to give us the business rule breakdown. Okay, these are all of the bank accounts, which again had the same payment method B across all my vendors. The duplications, these are the duplications which it found across 3019 records. Again, I can take that data, say, give it to my data migration team and start to do some actual value add work and start to interrogate, why were these vendors set up? What was the nature, and do I need them? When was the last transactions based around these vendors? Again, that's the massive overhead when it comes to migrating data. And again, the standard functionalities of what the platform provides us is its cleansing capability. Which vendors have actually required cleansing. So again, at a vendor level, it tells me what fields have changed and what the problem, more importantly, what was the problem with that field. Okay, at city level, it's proposing to remove a comma. Well, that sounds great, because I shouldn't have a comma in my city field, etc., etc. If I just scroll it on again, it gives us at a supplier level, and it tells us at a field column level what data cleanse operation it's going to actually do. So assuming that's been sent over to my stakeholders, the client will approve that, and based on that assumption, we'll then push this through the live mode of the platform.
Just to jump in very quickly, and with regards to the reporting, so we've done projects with a finance house as an example, where they'd acquired some new clients through an M&A consultancy, and they needed to very quickly understand and then evaluate what products and services this massive data that the individuals on this in this database were aligned to, in order to tally them to the right sales channels internally from their organization. And through the automated piece, we were able to cross-reference different records against each other in order to identify different products and services as well. So it's not only around the cleansing of the data, which is extremely important when doing the project, having good, clean, dedupe, tidy it all up, validating addresses, logging in and out. You can do credit checks, all that type of stuff using the robots coming in and out of the platform. We're also able to identify against standardized business rules, which can be defined by the business to make sure that what you're ingesting and what you're moving across is as user-friendly as it needs to be in the shortest possible time.
Brilliant, thank you, James. Okay, so let's just roll this on. I'm happy with what it's proposed. I'm going to go for the live run now. Okay, so again, it's done the live run, and what we're going to do, what we're going to see here, if I just pause this, so the requirement here is I want to take my unique records of those 3019, which I think is 3014. But what I want to get the automation piece to do here is I want it to actually log on to my target application. I don't want my team to physically sit there and manually create these records one by one. Well, why would I if I've got an automation piece that I can do that for me? So what we do is we at the very start of the project, we understand the footprint and where you want to go with this data. And it could be just a simple take the data, cleanse the data, and give you back that data. But again, it could be, we'll take that data and could you load it into my target application? Well, that's not a problem. So we've got to the 3000 records. What are the navigation points into your target application? Well, let's use the robot to do that. So we can use the automation piece. And again, in terms of a data risk perspective, we're using a standard front end username, password, logs in via the front end, starts to populate our target field information, source to target mapping, which we've done at the early stages when we captured your business requirements. So we take the file, the robot's going to pick up the actual file, and then it's already done that in the background. And again, we can see it starting to populate source to target information. Okay, that's the second vendor.
This has been slowed down, so you can see it happening. I mean, we can go in through the back and just dump dump thousands of files straight into the databases as
or
well.
An API. Again, if you had an API which is a target application or a specific Excel format or some kind of access format, it doesn't really matter what the target format is, what the target application is, or applications, because the business requirement here could be that split up the actual files that we fed into the platform. But I've got 6 different target applications, and based on country level, I need you to populate those country files to different target locations and target applications. Not a problem. The automation capability can simply log on. We take a source to target mapping. We take those fields. We code that into the actual automation piece. It then populates the data, records the metrics, and gives you a report of what it's actually done. So let's play it for the demo purposes. We've just done a couple here, I think 3. And then more importantly, you can see the file. You just saw the files that were created in the background. So again, we know exactly what it's doing. And then we should see now the BI reporting piece come up as well to tell me if it was successful and the actual final record count. There we go. Okay, so again, it's told me, the source data file names, the source record counts, the number of duplications, when I extracted it, the target load dates, and there are a number of BI reports that we provide as part of this footprint. There are pie charts and graphics, etc. But for demo purposes, this is again just giving you a really good feel of is the data right? Does my source equal my target? What are my dropouts? Where are my exceptions? That's the fundamental problem that we're solving here.
And from a capacity perspective, and we can turn the platform up and turn it down as required for bigger or smaller projects. You're looking at, as Sanjeev has been pausing this and we slowed it down and we've been talking through, but in principle, you're looking at multiple checks to clean the data, multiple reconciliations based on predefined business rules that are defined at kickoff, a quicker platform to kick off to actually start the project. And I think we've gone through 3,019 records there, performed all of those tasks and produced a report, and it's showing on this video it's taken 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and in reality it would be a fifth of that time. So if the speed and capacity and ability to ingest that data, the reduced cost to predefine the business rules in advance, the minimized people footprint in the project are all, if the situation, if these are factors in that are an issue for you for your own personal potential projects, these are all things that are minimized, and it's almost delivered as a service. So we will roll on and roll off.
Yeah, brilliant. So again, this is coming to the end of this actual case study video. Just to give you the metrics here, again, time, date, housekeeping type conventions, where it's loaded to, and again, if it was loading it to more target applications, I'd see more reports. I think the most important thing here to note is at every milestone of that data point and that data journey it takes, it's been recorded, and that's the fundamental architecture around this solution, because we need to understand what's happening, where it's happening, and what the records were, and again, being able to justify it across that journey. And that concludes the actual demo of this video. I will now pause that and I will go back to here. There we go, live Q&A. So I think that's a natural ending to hopefully stimulate some questions.
Yeah, I just want to jump in and say thank you guys. That was amazing. The information came so quick. So I just want to remind everybody, you'll get a link to the recording of this webinar after we finish up today. We'll also push this over to YouTube. So go back, maybe watch it step by step. There's so much that can be done here. I mean, it's and you look at the statistics, and I think it's something north of 70% of organizations have started a legacy system modernization type of project, and they've failed to complete it. And what we've what's been addressed here is through universal data access, scalable data extraction, reconciliation, reporting, all of these different points here, and all of it, extremely customizable, automated, scalable, super cost effective. This is, I think, going to be really, really important moving forward. So again, keep in mind, you can go back and watch this kind of step by step, but hopefully we can, get a few questions here. I'm going to leave that, James, Sanj, to the two of you for the most part here. I don't know if we have any questions coming in. Do you guys taking a look there?
Yeah, we're just having a look.
One person said they can't hear.
Yeah, I sent an email out there. Not sure what happened.
Okay, well, in event of no questions, we can just sort of reiterate that the USPs of this type of platform and the logic behind it. Sanjeev touched on it previously. You have sort of data science for high-end data exploration and understanding as to what's in your data, why the data is in the shape that it is, potential issues. However, there's a big gap from a capacity perspective and a speed perspective, and that's what this platform offers. It's a highly tailorable, extremely fast combination of technologies that delivers a very specific outcome. We are able to absorb data in a secure manner from the front or from the back, using automation, which is highly secure and credible. We are able to push that through our platform using predefined business rules as defined by automation, with WinPure's award-winning capability to perform the validation and cleansing tasks around actually the quality of that data as well. We are able to then produce a report around that and push it into any application. We can use APIs. We don't need to use APIs. There are some situations where applications have APIs. That could be expensive. They might not be expensive. This is another offering where we're able to manipulate different applications in whichever way to deliver an outcome. It's powerful, it's quick, it's secure, and it's really exciting. So Ben, do you want to back over to you?
Yeah, really appreciate it. I'm not seeing any questions at this point. So, again, I just want to emphasize, the importance of questions. So if anybody wants to submit a question here before we wrap up today, leave a minute or two here. But, if no questions are coming in, we're happy to wrap up at this point. Really appreciate everyone joining. And, Sanj, James, again, thanks so much for all of your work on this. It's really exciting. We appreciate the opportunity. But taking a quick look here, I'm not seeing any questions. So again, this is going to be pushed over to YouTube. That's the WinPure channel. I'm sure JifJaff will also put this on their channel as well. But please get in touch. You'll get an email from us following the webinar today. That email will have both websites. Also a link to the recording. So please share this within your organizations there. Reach out if you have any questions. That email will come from me directly. So feel free just to respond to the email. If you want to discuss something in more detail, or any comments, feedback, questions that you might have. But I think we can leave it there for today. And thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your week. And Sanj, James, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah,
as well.
thank you everyone
Thank
for
you,
joining.
everyone. Cheers.
Pleasure.
Thanks for your help, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.